Hi guys, this is Ethan Bobbins. This is going to be a tutorial video on how to flash a ROM to your Advent Vega. I've had a few requests for this, so I'm going to run through it quickly for you. What you'll need to do is, in the notes below, there'll be a few links you'll need to follow to get the parts we need. First part being clockworkmod. It's the backup program we use for flashing, backing up, recovering, and all those kind of cool parts that you need. There's also going to be a recovery APK link. Now you'll need this to initiate clockworkmod. Because the Advent Vega doesn't have a hardware button way of getting into recovery mode, there's a little program that you can force it into it. So you'll need that, and of course you'll need a ROM. I'm going to be using Corvus 5 on this, but it's the same process if you want to go through and install Vega Comb or any of the other modified ROMs that you want to get on there. It is different installing a modified ROM to doing a factory store in NV Flash, so you'll need the clockworkmod installing. So before we can go anywhere, what you'll need to do is go into your settings menu on your Vega and make sure you have the USB debugging enabled. So without this you won't be able to send commands to it from your PC. So allow this. You'll see an extra icon up here which is a little Android bug. So when you go back to the home screen, you'll see debugging enabled and you'll have a little bug in the top. Without that you're not going to be able to do any of the clockworkmod flash parts. So I'm going to jump on the PC now and run through installing clockworkmod. Okay guys, so we're on the PC. We've got our Vega connected through the USB. Now you have to make sure your Vega doesn't go to sleep while you're doing this, or you get device errors. So always make sure you've got your screen on and it's active and it's unlocked and everything like that. So in this command window I've already opened up the SDK part of ADB. So I'm in the platform tools folder, which is where it lives. You can run ADB from anywhere, it just depends where you got it from. In that folder you'll need to put everything for clockworkmod, which is a recovery.img and a flash_image. So we'll need those in the same folder just to make life easier. So with the Vega not unlocked and not on standby or anything like that, we can go ahead and start to push things across to it. So we'll do an ADB and a push. This essentially pushes everything across to the Vega, and we want to push across the recovery image. And then we need a location, which is data/local. And if it's the first time you're using ADB, you will get the daemon startup tool, so don't worry if you see that. It's just ADB starting its transfer protocols. And now we need to push across the flash image, so it's ADB and push and flash underscore image into the same folder. And that's copied across. Now we need to change the mode of the flash image, which basically changes its read and write properties. So it's ADB and then shell, which basically means shell as if you were writing it on the tablet itself. So if you had terminal emulator on your tablet, this is what it'd be doing. 4755. She's going to change the read write properties, and we need to tell it what to change the properties of. So it's going to be of flash underscore image. Helps if I spell it correctly, so we'll do that straight away. That's done. And now we need to tell it to flash the recovery image. So we go to ADB shell again, data/local flash. So this is going to make flash image run and then overwrite the recovery with the recovery image we copied across. So this is going to change the standard recovery mode from the Vega recovery mode to clockworkmod. So that takes a little bit of time to run through, and that's done. So you've now got clockworkmod on your tablet. So we now need to jump back to the tablet and install the recovery.abk APK, sorry, so we can get into that recovery mode. Okay guys, so we're back on the Vega now. So assuming you've got the recovery APK on the root of your memory card, we can get to the file manager and then scroll until we find this here, which is the recovery initiator. So click there, click install, and then we're done. So from there we can go back to the main menu and you'll have this icon here called recovery. So we'll hit this and this will stick us into recovery mode, which is where clockworkmod lives. So it takes a couple of seconds to get it in there, but you'll be presented with a text-based recovery mode. So I'll show you the quick ways of getting around that. So to go up and down through the menus, you press volume down to go down and volume up to go up. Very straightforward. The back button, which is the top right hand button, that's back a step, and to initiate a step it's one tap on the power button. So if you wanted to reboot your system without doing any changes, just press power there and it'll reboot the system. What I'm going to do is go through backing up the install, just in case you ever want to go back to a standard install but don't have to want to go through MB Flash. So we press down until we get to back up and restore, then we press power, and then we press back up. Now, there's no second initiation screen in this, you don't have to confirm it. As soon as you hit back up it runs. So I'll let this run through. It should be pretty quick because it is a basic install of version 1.09 on here at the moment. So I've taken it straight back to factory, so it's as if you've just bought the Vega. So this will back up all the different partitions and everything else. It's always a good idea to have this to hand, either on your memory card or on your PC. Occasionally when you go from different ROMs, it's always good to go back to that stock ROM first. If it's recommended to go back to the stock ROM first, like with VegaComb, it's always a good idea to do it. If you try and go from a different ROM, it can sometimes screw it up because different custom ROMs have different partition sizes. But when guys are writing custom ROMs, for example VegaComb 1.3 from last week, they assume you've got basic partitions. That's how they've written theirs, and if you've not, it can screw the process up. So that's running through the Dalvik cache now. So you have a little progress bar in the middle. Doesn't 100% it doesn't represent what it's doing sometimes. So once this is run through, I'll go through the basics you need to go through before flashing a ROM. There's certain things you have to go through to help the ROM flash. If you skip them, you won't always get 100% working ROM. You might get errors like you might have seen in some of my previous videos of maps not working on one install I did. That's because I didn't follow these next steps. So always follow these steps. It does mean wiping out certain things, but because we've done that backup, it's fine, we can always go back to it. So if you did want to go back to that for any reason, you go to backup and restore and just pick restore. Then it will give you the option of what's on your memory card. So you can see here I've got a few different ones: Corvus 5, Beta 1.3, Beta 1.4, and the backup I just made. It time and dates it, so if your clock's wrong on your Vega, your backup time will be wrong. So if you're like me, maybe an hour out, which it is, it says it's backed this up at 11:30. It hasn't, it actually backed it up at 12:30. So be wary of that when you're keeping copies. So to go back to the menu we need, just press back and it takes us back to here. So first things first, we need to wipe the cache partition. So down to there, press power, go down to yes, and then press power again. And that will wipe out that partition. And then we do the data and factory resets. So same thing again, down to yes, click go, that wipes that out. This one can take a minute or so sometimes, so it is a bit bigger. And then this is the one that some people forget because it's hidden away under advanced. So down to advanced and wipe Dalvik cache. This is the one that can cause most problems if you don't erase it. So we'll get rid of that. And yes, it's normally a really quick wipe, that one is. Right, so that's backing up and wiping out pre-ROM flashing. So now what we need to do is go down to install zip from SD card. Unless your ROM's called update.zip, you can do the automatic way, but most of them aren't. So we'll go down to choose from zip card, choose zip from SD card, sorry. Press that, and you can see I've got my Corvus 5 zip on here. Go on to there, and down to yes, install. Now this process can take a little bit of time, because it is flashing the new ROM, it is flashing all partitions, so the recovery partition, it's recovering the boot partition and everything that from that zip file. So this can take a little bit of time, so I may speed through this on a fast forward setting depending on how long it takes. It shouldn't take too long, and then we should get back to the main menu once it's finished. Okay, so that's the ROM applied. So we're going to hit back and hit reboot. So it should reboot it into Corvus 5. So fingers crossed we should see the two penguins, which we do. That's the boot image going up. Then it's the same image on the next screen, and then we should see the Tron style screen, which is part of the Corvus 5 boot ROM. Providing we see that, we should have a nice clean boot into Corvus 5. Now the first boot will take a little bit of time. If any of you have ever flashed a Android phone before, you'll know just how long it can take when you swap ROMs. So we've got a nice boot animation there. Now, Corvus 5 isn't a honeycomb ROM. It's a, I think it's a 2.3 ROM, or possibly even a 2.2 ROM. So it's not the Vega comb ones, but it is one of the best basic ROMs you can get without going to honeycomb. So you can see there we've got the basic Corvus 5 interface. If any of you guys have seen my other videos about it, it won't look like this because I changed the launcher on it, but this is the default. So it's a little bit like the Vegas one, but we've got a slightly smaller bar at the top. It's running quite smoothly already, and we've got all the basic tools there. One thing you have to do as soon as you install a custom ROM, if it doesn't come with the recovery manager, jump onto File Manager, go onto your memory card, and then run the installer. So it's always a good idea to keep this Vega boot APK on your drive, on the root of your SD card, or you won't get back into recovery mode. If you did ever want to back this up or change to Vega comb or anything like that, you're going to need that recovery initiation program. So that's us 100% up and running with a new custom ROM. If you guys have got any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you guys need any help with the drivers or anything like that, drop me a comment or drop me an inbox, and I'll do a video on how to get the drivers working. It will be kind of generic, but I'll give you as much help as you can, as this is a cracking tablet and it deserves to have a custom ROM on it. So if you guys are out there wondering and scratching your heads on how to do it, give me a shout. We'll sort out a video and we'll get you up and going on your own custom ROM. That way you can unleash the power of the Advent Vega without having to go out and buy one of these crazy high powered devices. So I'll see you guys next time.